Hey guys, Simon here, and today we have some pickups to take a look at, so let's get started. Okay, so over the past few episodes, you've all seen me pick up a couple of boxed and complete PlayStation consoles. These were a SCPH5502 PS1 and a SCPH5002 PS2. And I've wanted these specific models as they were my first consoles I received for the 5th and 6th generation, leaving me wanting to track down one more system, and that was my very first PlayStation 3, which was the CECH 202A 120GB slim model. And over the Christmas break, I managed to track down a pretty epic PS3 lot that contained a boxed and complete unit of the exact model I was after, along with some games and 2 extra controllers. First up, we'll go through all the games. There are 12 in total. I won't go into specific detail about each one, otherwise we will be here all day. Anyway, the first game is the original Call of Duty Black Ops. Personally, I have not played this one before, but I remember watching my brother-in-law play this on his OG fat PS3 back in 2010. Honestly, I think I should give it a go, but I'm just not a big fan of the Call of Duty franchise. There is only one title in that series that I really enjoy, and that one was World at War. Then we have Assassin's Creed 2, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, FIFA 10. I won't be playing this one because I'm definitely not a sports game fan. The original Little Big Planet. This is a really underrated platformer, and it's great to see Sackboy is still around with Sackboy: A Big Adventure on PS5 and PS4. Then we have Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots, Heavy Rain, Uncharted 2, an absolute classic. This is when Naughty Dog were on top of their game. I was late to the Uncharted series and I didn't play the first 3 games until mid-2012, but it was an amazing experience and I really hope we get more Uncharted games in the future. Then we have Gran Turismo 5 and Gran Turismo 6. I am a huge fan of the Gran Turismo franchise and I can't wait until we get number 7, mainly because it's going to be returning to a more traditional Gran Turismo style game. And while I did enjoy GT Sport, I did miss the bulky single-player content that GT was known for. And then the last 2 games are Grand Theft Auto 5 and BioShock 2. So a pretty solid stack of games that are all in great condition. Now I do own most of these titles already, so I will be moving them on as there's not much point in keeping doubles laying around. Now we have the first bits of hardware that were included in this bundle, and they are 2 DualShock 3s. One is a deep red variant. The model number for this one is the CECH ZC2U, and the other one is a satin silver DS3, and the model number for this one is CECH ZC2H. Struggling to remember those models, but they are 2 color variants that I needed, especially the satin silver, as about 2 years ago I purchased a satin silver PS3 Slim from a local secondhand store and it didn't have the correct controller, so now I can put this one with that Slim model and it will be complete, so I'm pretty happy about that. And last up is the console. This is the sole item I was chasing from this lot. As mentioned, it's a CECH 202A 120GB PS3 Slim, my first ever PS3 console, and it is in immaculate condition, complete in box with all of the original packaging and manuals, etc. So I'm pretty darn pumped. I have mentioned before that I'm not the type of collector that needs everything in perfect condition, but when it came down to finding my original model-specific PlayStation consoles that I've owned in the past, I wanted them to be complete. And this PS3 is the final one that I needed. But you know what? I'd like to tell a story. I love talking about my gaming past here on the channel, and it wouldn't be a pickups video without one. So let's go all the way back to 2010. This was a great time in my life. All I worried about was spending money on my car, drinking beer at the pub, girls, and video games. Now when it came to gaming, I was heavily into the Xbox 360. And I loved my 360. It was one of the OG white models. I'd play Gears of War, Battlefield Bad Company, Left 4 Dead 2. Loved that. Absolutely loved it. Lost Planet, Fallout 3, Oblivion, the list goes on. But unfortunately, like most OG Xbox 360s, it ended up suffering from the red ring of death. But it was under warranty, so I sent it off and it arrived back 2 to 4 weeks later, all repaired with a card for Xbox Live for 6 months. So Microsoft were really good with it. But a couple of months later, it red ringed for the second time, and I was pretty annoyed, so I decided to take all the games and controllers and trade them in and make the switch back to PlayStation. As my brother-in-law had a PS3, and I'd always sit down and watch him as he played, and it seemed like a pretty solid system, so no hate towards Microsoft or the Xbox brand, as I just wanted to play games, and to have to wait another 2 to 4 weeks for my 360 to be repaired again was a pain at the time. And also because the 2010 Aliens vs Predator game had just released, and I really wanted to play it. Anyway, the next day rolled around. I've gathered up all of my 360 games and controllers. I headed down to the local game store. I've traded everything in, and I think I got about $150 all up. And I put it towards a brand new PS3 Slim with a copy of Aliens vs Predator. I couldn't have been more excited. The game employee that sold the system to me, she was really into PlayStation, and the whole time she was running through the exclusives and how PSN worked, and it just amped me up even more. Thinking about it, this was pretty much the pivotal moment for me that got me back into the PlayStation brand. But anyway, I've paid for the system, I headed for home. When I arrived, I actually lived at my sister's house at the time. I went to my room and unboxed everything and just laid it all out on the bed. I then set it all up and I played Aliens vs Predator all day, just drinking beer, eating junk food. It was a great time. And then I went on to play games like Resistance: Fall of Man, Motorstorm, Heavenly Sword, and then later on in 2010, God of War 3. Now that was epic. So it was pretty safe to say that I ended up pretty much well invested back into the PlayStation ecosystem. But the PS3 Slim, certainly a great system that provided me with years of awesome entertainment, and it still does to this day. Well, that's it for today's episode. Let me know in the comments below what you've been playing and what have you picked up recently. Myself, I'm still mucking around with Demon's Souls on the PS5, and I'm eagerly awaiting Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. I'm pretty hyped for that one. So with that said, remember, keep the positivity flowing, and I'll see you next time with more PlayStation content. Thanks, guys.